I know. What color is this? What happened? Why did I order the wrong one? Okay, a lot of questions. We're going to have some major conversations today, okay? About your grays, people, your grays, all the kinds, tones of gray there can be, even the more, right, when you're just starting, okay, and the different type of pattern of a hair. Let's get into it. I don't have the big intros and the fancy songs and all the things. Just not my cup of tea. It's pretty, it's cool. Don't have it, so sit tight. Here we go. All right. As you know, I make a lot of wigs on Etsy. Okay, I make the wigs on Etsy using all types of hair. This one's really pretty too, by the way. And what happens is, on occasion, someone will order hair and say, oh, it's too dark, or it's too light, or it's too brown, too not brown, it's very white, it's very... Listen, that's why there's so many kinds of grays, and that's why I put so many videos out, and even pictures, as many as I can, to show what you're ordering before you order it, right? Or if you want me to make something, you're getting a sew in and you need to put it on your hair, right? And you want to do a good color match. It's hard to do online for grays, I'm telling you. And for a lot of people, just trying to get the right one to match, you know, how long you want it, or you want it big, you want it straight, you want, you know, the long. It is so many variations. It is nearly impossible to get everything perfect. But because I am that person and I like to try to make it absolutely as perfect as I can, then I put as much information out as I can. Okay, so let's talk about it. Now, the grays go in a literal line in the sense of the color. When you are starting out and you're starting to gray, people have started graying earlier and earlier. I have a grandson who had grays when he was like 7, all kind of through in his hair. And then he wanted his hair colored because he didn't like the kids to talk about him about his gray hair. And so his hair wasn't dark, it was like a sandy brown, so was able to, you know, put some little highlights or something in there. But you need to know what variation are you, right? So when you start to grays, we call this a 280. 280, that's the color. And if you look at it closely, it maybe has 8-10% gray. Can you see the grays? Right? There's just a few. But the hair itself is pretty dark. Okay, a 280, I think you're saying it. The 280 hair is dark hair, right? Dark hair with about 10% gray. And I put that in the description. It's 10% gray, up to about, okay? But the hair itself is very dark, all right? Then, you know, some years go on and children start worrying your nerves, or life start worrying your nerves, you get to a 34. The 34 color, 34, is from the 10% to about 30% grays. And the hair, the darker hair, is not quite as dark. You see that? And you see how much gray is in there. So this would be more of a salt pepper kind of look a little bit, because you see it has a lot of grays. Now yes, the lighting changes things, the pictures change things, and we do our best to put out pictures, but looking at those side by side, and you see the darkness of the 280 and then the 34. You see that? And then the other thing, when I am sewing the wigs, of course, when you get them, when you first have your bundles, they're nice and smooth, right? But by the time I'm sewing and taking it apart and stitching it in, it can get a little frizzy, all right? Just doing this just right here, you see it gets a little frizzy, right? That's nothing. The curl is there. I've told you 1,000 times, and in the descriptions, put a little mousse on it, a little leave-in conditioner, just a little water, and when you smooth it back down, it goes back in place. It's not an old wig. It's not a used wig or any of those things. It's just that I've been sewing on it and creating and fixing it for you, so it's not going to be as defined as it is when you first get it in the bundles, okay? But they're all brand new. This is my passion. I want you to have brand new and the perfect color for you. So we're going to the extensive video on 280, the darker color, 10% gray, 34, which is up to about 30% gray. Okay, those are those colors. And then you will bounce on over to a 44. Now the 44 is up to about 40%, 50% gray. Okay, see the graduation to it? And then when you look at it, it's mostly salt. As we say, mostly salt, a little bit of pepper. Okay, you see that well enough? It is a very charcoaly color gray, if you will, and it's not a lot of dark in it, and it's very light. And this is for, you know, there's some people, and the other part of it is this: you may have patches where a lot of times the front is pretty frosty and the back is dark and everything, because our hair, it just grows in how it grows in. You take that up with Jesus, or you know, God will tell you, I didn't make it. I'm just trying to improvise and help you put some hair on your head. Anyway, the color is the color. I don't make the colors. I don't color these colors. This is how they come when I order them. I find them. I'm always on a hunt for the best hair to make the wigs with and the ponytails. These are generally the ones I make for the ponytails because they're soft and pliable, and you can, you know, make yourself a nice bun, you know, and everything. That's what you really use for this. But this is a 44. So when you see on the listing or you're ordering a wig, these are universal colors, by the way. I'm not numbering this. This is how they're listed. This is how they come. When you buy and order overseas and wherever else, this is the numbers they know. 44s, okay? And then graduating up where you're mostly all gray, where there's hardly any pepper left, maybe a smidge. So now the numbers go backwards where it's like 10% pepper. But it's mostly all gray, where you are silver girly, okay? You see that? So you see the difference in that. The 44 is not a lot, but it isn't as charcoal look. It is very bright, all gray. Okay, it has like 10%. You see a little bit of pepper in there, little bit. See the darker strands? Okay, this is the 51. The 51 is not the 34. So the 34 looks like this on the ends. This is your 51 when you're mostly all gray. Okay, only 10% dark. And this is what that looks like. And again, you have to match it with wherever you're wearing. Now, if you're wearing one of those half wigs and the front of your hair is very frosty, this will be great because the back of your hair is darker. And I have some ombres where I would put the lighter in the front and then I sew it down to where it has an ombre effect. Okay, that is that 51. Okay, that's the 51. And the ones that are listed under platinum or icy colors, voila, look at that. Now you see the difference of that? So some people who have that white gray, or they're graduating to it, okay, that's the difference. So you'll see it where it says platinum, that's that, or ice, that's that, okay? You see the variations of that? That's how this is listed. These are your icy and your platinum. Okay? And this is your 51. This is really nice hair too, by the way. Yes, you can shampoo it, condition it. No, not flat iron. If you want it straight hair, you order the straight hair. Okay, all right, very good. And the 31 for the 34, right? See the difference? And your 280. Okay? Okay? Yeah? Now, one more variation I have is it'll say a brown gray. There are people who are, they're naturally a light brown hair, or sandy brown hair as we call it. Their hair has this turned gray, but they still have brown. Now you see the tone of that, okay? But within this, you can see it's not necessarily black hair that you see, it's brown. You see the browns? So it's a brown gray. I don't often get these because they don't color them so much. There's not a lot of people who have the brown gray to when I order it. So when I find it, I make it and post it. But this has more browns in it. Okay? So that's the difference. When you get one that's gray or something that has a little brown tone in it, that's what this looks like. All right, everybody? And by the way, curl pattern is everything as well. This is the soft curl, okay? And this is the wave. You see that? And so when you're picking and choosing your wigs, you want to make sure you understand what the colors and the wave pattern that you need is. Alrighty? Very good. So glad we've had this time together. Alright, so you guys, can you please watch the videos? I have lots that talks about these color variations of the hair, because it will help you get the right one, no matter who you get it from, so you know what you're getting. You're spending the money, you want to get what you're supposed to get. And don't forget, your 44 is where you're ashy gray, or where you're not real gray but you still have some darkness into there. The 44 is right in the middle of the colors. Okay, I hope this helps. But that's all the colors and variations of gray, and that's how they come. I don't make them, I don't color these, I don't color. This is how they come when you order hair. Alrighty? Okay guys, thank you.